Welcome back everyone. This is chapter 28. We are going to learn about ACL, access control list. What are the uses of ACL and how to use the command ACL? How to set a ACL on any one of the file. Let us see what are the commands and how to work with the ACL command. ACL is used to provide the access for any one of the file or directory for any one of the user. The file or directory, here a simple example, the file or a directory, okay, the test directory or a file script.sh owned by root user, but the other user can't able to execute this file, or they can't able to cat the file, even they can't able to access this directory or file. For that, if they want to access this file, or they want to edit the file, or they want to access this directory, they need a special permission called access control list. If we sit with the access control list, if we provide that access so that they can access this file or directory, let us see how to do that. Okay, for the example, I am going to create the one of the file under op directory. Here opt was owned by root. Okay, this directory was owned by root. Once I switch to the one of the user called let me switch to Linux Geek user, and I'm going to opt, and I am trying to touch a file. I am getting permission denied. Okay, if I want to write a file to this directory, I need a special permission. If not, I can't able to write any other file. For that purpose only, we are going to use the ACL. Let us see how to use the ACL for this directory, and let me show how to create a file under this directory. The file will be owned with root user, but you can able to access using Linux Geek user. Alright, now let me exit from the Linux Geek user. Currently I am in op directory. Let me create a directory called test, and the file name is called test1. The directory name is test and the file name is test1. You can see the ownership of this file and the group is owned by root. So if I switch to the Linux Gig user, if I try to cat this file, I can able to cat this file. But at the same time, if I want to edit this file, is it possible to edit this file and save? I am going to type something and I am going to trying to save it. At the bottom we can see it's showing test1 cannot open file for writing. That means you don't have any write access to this file because it was owned by root user. You can see the root user only have the read write permission, and all other user have read write. Even though, let me show now, the test one was have the permission of read write to use user root, and others group have read, and the others have only read. So now I am going to change the permission like chmod 600, so the group also can't able to access this file. See, only the read write permission for this file. Alright, so now I am going to switch to user. Here the test file can't able to cat now. It will show permission denied because only the root user have the read and write access to the test1 file. So now I want the access to this test1 file by Linux Geek user. How can I do? Okay, even though this user, the Linux Geek user was not added to the group, or he is not added to any one of the privileged account, but he want to access the file Linux test1 under the op directory. The file was owned by root user and group, and the permission was read write. So how can I do that? There is a command called setFACL and getFACL. To know the status of the file, we can use the command getFACL. Set1, so getFACL test1. Okay, the permission, the file test1 was owned by root and root. The group is also root and the user also root. And the user, the root have the permission of read and write, and even root doesn't have a executable permission, but the group and the others doesn't have any permission. So what, while we are accessing the cat, while we are trying to cat the file from Linux Geek user, we can't able to cat the file. It shows permission denied. So how can we achieve? I want to access, okay, the file from the Linux Geek. For getting the information, the current status of the file, we use getFACL. To set the permission, we can use the command called get set FACL. Okay, set FACL -m for modifying. Okay, and for user, I'm going to set the permission for the user Linux Geek. So I want to use u colon which user. The user was, you want to mention for the user with u colon Linux Geek. What the permission you need? Read, write, and execute. Okay, the user Linux Geek need read, write, and execute, full permission for that file. For test 1, I have provided the permission. Now let me check whether the permission was successful. getFACL test 1. Now you can see the file owner is root, but root have only read and write permission and no executable permission, but Linux Geek user have read, write, executable permission. All right. Now if you list the file, there is no change has been done. Okay. Now let me switch to Linux Geek user. Under opt, now if I try to cat the test1 file from the Linux Geek user, I have all the permission. Even I can write to the file, okay, write to the file, and I can save it. Okay, thus we can set of ACL on any one of the file. The same thing, there is nothing different for the directory also. Let me show how to set the ACL for one of the directory also. The same thing, there is nothing different. To set a permission on the directory also, set of ACL hyphen, it's a -m modify, it's a user. I'm going to provide the access to one of the user who, so it want to be provided with u, the Linux Geek user, and read, write, execute on the directory test. getFACL test directory. See, the directory was owned by root user, and the root user have read, write, execute permission already. Same thing here. The same time Linux Geek also have read, write, execute permission. Let me provide with only read and write. I don't want the execute permission on this directory. So the Linux Geek have only read and write permission on the directory test. Let me switch to Linux Geek user. Now I am going to create one of the directory inside opt. Okay, mkdir test22. Okay, see the permission for this directory, the permission for the opt was not changed, so he can't able to write on inside the opt, but he can able to write inside the test directory because we have provided the permission to write permission to the test user. Here we can see we provided with the permission of read and write to the user user Linux Geek on the test directory, but whenever I am trying to cd into the test directory, it's showing permission. Why? Do you know one thing? Because if I want to access any other directory, we need to provide with the executable permission. If I am not going to use the executable permission on the directories, we can't able to cd into the directory. Okay, so I need to provide the full permission. Let me provide it the full permission, and let me change the user, switch to the user. Now if I try to cd into the test user, I can able to go into the test user. The same time, if I am going to create a directory from Linux Geek under the opt, I can't able to create one. It will show, it will throw the permission denied error. The same time, if I'm going inside the test directory under opt test, and if I'm going to create the directory called test1 or test2, it will be created. That is the difference between the permission setting in a directory and file. Okay, now we have seen how to create a file and directory and providing a user level access control list. Number of users, 10 number of users are added to one of the group, and the group name is test. Okay, the group name is test. If you want to provide the permission for any one of the directory called mkdir test4, the test4 directory want to be accessed by one of the group. So how can I do that? The same command setup ACL hyphen modify, and instead of you want to provide with g. Okay, and the group name is test. He need read write execute, or read write or read anything. Okay, let me give read write execute, only read write or something. Okay, to the test directory. If you see here, let me get a facial, run the get a facial and show the command. Sorry, I have changed to the test directory instead of providing under test. Okay, now let me get a facial test 4. You can see the group. Now the group which I have provided the permission read and write on the group level. The group was test 4. The group name is test, and the directory was directory test 4 was provided with the group level permission, so that what are the users are under the group test, they can able to access this file test 4 without any issue. Okay, I am switching to test user. Under opt, I can able to go inside the test4 directory. This is same thing because I have made mistake, because I have not provided the permission with read write and execute. If I provide the execute only, I can able to access from the other users. Okay, now I can able to go into the test4 directory, and even I can create another file, or I can create any directory also. Alright, thus we can set the special permissions for any one of the directories or files by using setup facial and getup facial commands for any one of the user or for any one of the groups. Same as chmod, we can use this, but most in purpose, if you have a web server and the web server directory under var www.html only be owned by Apache. So the Apache, and here it's root. The file anaconda was used by root instead of using Apache. If the user, one of the user, there is a web administrator is there, his name is Kumar or his name is Jim. The Jim user, the Jim administrator want to make changes to the web server. So what can he do? Jim want to access this file anaconda, so that we can provide the setup ACL command, use the setup ACL, and we can provide the write permission to this file, so that he can make the changes to this file. Thus we can use the setup ACL and getup ACL command in Linux. Thanks for watching, guys. In next tutorial we can meet with a new topic. Till then, please subscribe to our channel and keep on watching all the tutorials. Thank you.